Before I begin, I'd like to do a little shout out. I was at an anime convention a few weeks back and I met these two authors, Jessica Walsh and Brianne Lawrence, and I purchased two of their books, Seeking the Storyteller and its sequel, Beneath the Chapter. Now, these books appear to be influenced by one of my favorite TV shows, Supernatural. Now, ladies, if you're watching, I do apologize, but I haven't read your books yet to make that proper assessment. But if this is true, then that is awesome. I have made it perfectly clear that I see no problem with taking inspiration from other works. After all, where would we be in the art world if we dared not to imitate other artists? Still with a hammer and chisel and painting animals on caves, I believe, if we even advance that far. Still, there is a passage on the back of one of these books, and I have their permission to read, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. This passage comes from Seeking the Storyteller. I know of the storyteller. It whispers into the man's ear. I have met him. If he promised not to kill me, I'll take you to him. Alexandre de Bennett and Randall Fagan are hunters, part of a hidden network of humans who track and kill the monsters lurking in our world so everyone else can pretend they don't exist. But when a living shadow mentions someone called the storyteller, Alex hesitantly decides to learn more. They say the storyteller lives in a massive library full of books that tell every being's life story. He can read these books, rewrite them, and change anything he wants, even if it's already happened. That's the power Alex wants. The power to bring his murdered family back, and he's determined to make the storyteller do it. He just has to decide if working with these very creatures he's supposed to kill is worth it. So if that seems interesting to you, please click on the link in the description below and check out these as well as their other books. Now on with our regular vlog entry. So I just recently watched Deadpool 2. You know, the sequel to Deadpool, the first superhero movie ever to receive an R rating, not counting, of course, RoboCop, RoboCop 2, 1989's The Punisher, 2004's The Punisher, Punisher Warzone, The Crow, all of its sequels, Judge Dredd, Dredd, Blade, and all of its sequels, Darkman, all of its sequels, V for Vendetta, Kick-Ass, Kick-Ass 2, and Watchmen, just to name a few. I like how everyone treats Deadpool like it was this groundbreaking achievement by receiving an R rating, when in reality, that's not really anything special. Although let's not kick it entirely, it did at least remind mainstream audiences that it's okay to have a superhero movie that is rated R. But here's the kicker, I don't care. That's right, I can honestly say that I do not care what a movie is rated. Be it horror, action, rom-com, plain-com, coming-of-age, drama, war, musical, western, whatever. If it's rated G, PG, PG-13, R, or anything higher, I just don't care. It could be the first animated Disney movie to be given an R rating, and my ability to give a crap would still be zip. Why? I've compiled at least 5 points on the matter. First off, I'm in my mid-30s. It's kind of like why I don't care what the age restriction on tobacco and alcohol is anymore, because I'm well past that age restriction anyway. I can purchase as many of whatever of these that I want without worry of law enforcement arresting me. Or to emphasize the point even further, it's like those signs outside amusement park rides, saying you have to at least be 4 feet tall to ride this ride. And I'd be like, I'm 6'3", what does it concern me? Second, it's kind of an insult to parents. With the rating system that's currently in place, the movie industry insinuates that they know more about what your children should be watching than you do. Let me tell you something, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, which means I grew up in the height of slasher film popularity, which means I saw billboards of Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Chucky, Pinhead, and many, many others. So exposed to these images, naturally I wanted to see these movies, but my parents knew better. I remember one in particular that I wanted to see, The Silence of the Lambs, and no matter how much I begged and pleaded, my parents were firm in their decision. I even remember when The Nightmare Before Christmas came out and I begged and pleaded with my parents to take me to see that, but they said no because they thought it would be too scary. Now, before anyone goes off and says how horrible my parents were, let me just tell you that I applaud their conviction. That movie, as many of you may know, is rated PG, and despite the fact that I was old enough to see that movie, they still refused based on their own personal moral principles. And while I was not happy with the decision at the time, I'm proud of them now for standing their ground. They sat me down, talked it over with me, said I was not to see that movie, and gave me the reasons why. That's all you need, really. Who needs a rating system for that? And besides, I got to see that and most other movies I wanted to see eventually. Third, it's an insult to children. Kind of an emphasis to the second point, but here's the thing. Kids are a lot smarter than you think they are. I remember, roughly 10 years ago, in 2008, a friend of mine wanted to take her 10-year-old niece to see the movie Prom Night. For those of you who remember, Prom Night is a 2008 slasher film in addition to a loose remake to an 80s slasher film. My friend, not being the movie buff I was, did not know it was a remake to an 80s slasher film. She thought it was a romantic comedy. The movie is rated PG-13, which means my friend could have taken her niece to go see it, no questions asked. See, a kid can see a movie rated PG-13 so long as they have an accompanying adult. Now, here's the thing. The 10-year-old niece did not want to see this movie because it was a scary movie. She saw the previews. She knew it was scary. She told her aunt no. I was proud and emphasized the point and explained that it was a remake to a scary movie, and humorously, albeit seriously, advised that my friend not rent the original for them to watch. Who needs a rating system when there are children who are clearly that smart? Fourth, in further emphasis to the second and third point, we're all kind of smart. And the rating system insults our intelligence. Example, movie where a homicidal maniac goes around hacking off promiscuous underage drinking pot-smoking teenagers and the previews say, this film is not yet rated? Gee, what rating do you think it's going to get? Another example, animated movie with fluffy animals, fairies, princesses, and music that, if presented in food form, would blast you with diabetes before it even touches your tongue? And again, the film is not yet rated. Are you going to guess what the rating is going to be? Is it really necessary to keep us in false suspense? Point of the matter is, you should know what you're getting yourself into. You know what you want to watch, and you know what you don't want to watch. You know what you want to expose your loved ones to, and you ought to know better than to show them what's not good for them. You have friends, at least one or two, who are willing to give you movie advice. You should see this movie, you should not see this movie, and why. And you have the capability to decide for yourselves whether or not to see the movie based on said advice. Why do you need a rating system with sources like these? Fifth, and probably most important, at least in my opinion, it's more like a marketing ploy nowadays. Seems to me, gone away are the days when a movie's rating actually means something, outside of a means to sell movies. Gone away are the days when the rating of a film was a means of a guideline with the rise of internet and movie databases. The rating system just seems like an obsolete tool to the film industry. The only thing it's used for, it seems, is to sell movies. A superhero movie that's rated R? We did it, now go watch it. A slasher film that's rated G? We did it, now go watch it. Actually, I can think of one of those, made in the 70s, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Just remember, I said that if they ever do market one. Point I'm trying to make is we're smarter than what the movie industry perceives us to be. As members of the human race, we have the ability to decide for ourselves what we're going to watch and what we're not going to watch. And we really don't need a rating system to guide us anymore. Now, is that to say get rid of it? Certainly not. I'm sure it has some use, even though I can't possibly think of what exactly that use could be. I'm sure it's there, though. But hey, if you have any input, please put some in the comment section below. Also, if you enjoyed this, click like and subscribe to view more in the future. Also, don't forget to check out those books. I'm Mike, and this has been a Penguins Rock production.